All right, so the first thing to do when you're gonna drop the top down on the camper is get your sink out of the way. So make sure on the outside you've disconnected the water supply, which comes into the screw in. I usually put a little bit of tissue in the drain just to catch any little drips, and lift it just straight up, and it'll flip all the way over and sit right there. And that's basically the level. You can see the rail here, that's the level you need to have everything packed under. So that's, the cushions are all that way. And then we will now step outside and I'll show you how to start moving that in. All right, before we go outside, there's one more thing we have to do inside. This happens the same on both ends, so I probably won't record them both, but basically we have this support framework that keeps the pop-up pieces up and tight. So to loosen that, it's just like a little locking mechanism. You kind of push against it and it'll slide through the channel into an area where it pops out. And then on the other end there, you can see it's just a flat end of a bar that goes into a round thing to hold it. So we've stored these just underneath. I find that the simplest way to do it. You can let that down and just kind of get all the tarp kind of around and off the frame. It'll just be easier when you get to putting it all away in a moment. All right, so once you've let the framework down on the inside, then just come outside, make sure the canvas is all off the frame. And then on the front, there's gonna be 4 bars you need to work with. They're actually, I haven't got them all in because I didn't set it up properly. But you got these 2 that are just straight. They just kind of lock in, so if you lift here, it'll fall out. And also on the front, you'll have 2 that loop, kind of a metal bar, locks in up here, comes out, and then loops around to sit in there, just to add a little more support, seeing as this is the king size end. So once you've done that, then it's just a matter of pushing it slowly, lift and push, and it'll just slowly roll back in. I often will have someone just spotting for me as well, just on the inside as the rails go in, so it doesn't catch the material on the side and rip it or something like that. So that's basically how to get it in. It'll go all the way in and past this kind of the edge, the front edge here. And then it's just a matter of kind of trying to put this away as neatly as you can. Fold it back on itself, with the idea being we're going to then drop the top, which I'll show you how to do that in a minute. All right, so on the back end bed, just to put it away, obviously we got the table popped up, you need to drop that. So the way it works for the table, it's just got a leg here, pretty straightforward, it'll fold in. And with all of the things that you hook on, either on the outside or this table, I think that's all of it, kind of bring it up to about a 45-degree angle, and it should just lift off the rail. So you can see on the end there, it's got a little railing, and you have to get that lined up about 45 or more, just on that edge so it grips, and then you can bring it down and it'll hold. If you try to just put it on straight, it never actually grips in there. So pop that one out, and it'll just sit on the frame here, and then you can put the cushions in. So again, you can kind of see how high you could pack. We've put camping chairs, other things on that level. You can fill this whole middle zone up to about, this level with gear. There's space under there now, space under there. Kind of see how high you can pack everything. And obviously you want that all packed low as you can for the weight. So hope that helps. All right, so one more thing to do inside, kind of before you start pulling everything in, is we got to put the door away as well. It forms part of the strength for the frame, as you can see here. So it's probably get a little bit dark, but go ahead and close the door. And latch it down here. We're a little off square, it looks like, but yeah, make sure it latches there. This thing is supposed to hook in there. It doesn't work great. We usually just left it loose. Didn't really let a lot of bugs in. But if you feel about, where is it? Okay, so right about there, about a third of the way down, there's another little latch on the outside which you have to latch so the door won't open. And then it's kind of a 2-part thing. So the lower part is all part of the lower frame, and from here up it's a separate piece. So it's got these little latch things here you got to open, and then just pull from the top, just pop that all out. And as you pop it and lift it, it comes off the frame. You can see the little hole here. There's a part underneath there that'll lock in on both sides. and then it sits over the bottom half door. So once you popped like that, just swing it up, and you'll see the same system here on the ceiling. So just line it up there, twist those to lock it, and it'll stay up. And that's how to prepare the inside. Obviously, you know, your fridge will stay cold for a little while, depending on how far you're traveling, and all your storage is available, you know, to be full while it's traveling as well. All right, so then once you've got it all prepped, you got everything inside set up, you got your ends all pushed in, then the last thing to do is to just drop the top down and seal it up. So we've got the end, you know, I kind of just push it back on itself, get it sort of as flat as you can. Make sure this is over the edge of the lip so it doesn't stop it coming down. These little flaps are on each corner. We'll go around, just use those or not, but undo those before you drop it. This little guy is kind of an indicator to know when you're at the right height, so it should be tight when you've gone up at the beginning of a trip. Yeah, and then it's just a little square handle, slots in, and this little flap just slots in there, locks. It's kind of faded. Up is clockwise, so to come down, you just start to turn it. It's a little tight to go, but once it starts, it'll go, and kind of feels a little rickety, but it comes down. You can see it slowly dropping. Okay, so we skipped a little bit there of the process. Just been cranking it down slowly. Once you get to about this level, you just want to do a walk around, kind of reach in, push everything in, try to flatten it if it's a little bulgy. Just try to make sure it's lying inside everywhere as well as it can be. So just a little, so here, I want to just push that in as well, clear the edge, just checking everywhere, making sure it's, and while we're on this side, just quick, I'll show you what's here. This is an exhaust for the propane heating if you're ever using that. This is your connection for your water in. In, I believe here, water in there, and that's a drain from the sink. So I often have a little hose that's in the compartment you can hook on there just to let it drain out. And this is where, for a different type of water source that's not connected anymore, it didn't come with it. And then your main power connection cable lives in there. All right, so then we just finished putting this all down. It's a little bit bulgy there. We'll have to see how that sits. We might have to readjust it. Pull some of it over under here a little more. Yep. And once you've eyeballed that, again, I usually have helpers. Some of my boys, everyone takes a side and make sure it's doing what it needs to. And just keep coming down. Tucked away properly, and keep going. You kind of feel it, and when it comes to an end, it'll stop kind of clicking and just spin really light. So I then just sort of bring it back till it ratchets a couple of times and let it at that. And sometimes, if it hasn't been packed real well, you might have to just kind of tug on the corner to get it down. This one corner is always a bit loose for us, so I've just got a little carabiner that I stick through there just to hold it so it won't pop. And that's basically it. You walk your way around the four corners, latch it all on, and it's secure and ready to go.